Okay. Good morning. It's now 9 a.m., so the monthly meeting of the Fairfield Glade Community Club Board of Directors will come to order. This morning's meeting is open to all members of the community club and is being recorded for viewing on the community club website. We're also live streaming this morning's meeting for member viewing. You'll also notice that this time we have 2 microphones on the floor. And so if you are going to ask a question, you will need to go to one of those 2 microphones to ask your question, because that's the only way we pick up the sound for the live streaming. And that was a request from members who are viewing the meeting on live streaming. So to begin this morning, to honor America, please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence to remember those who are serving in uniform and defending freedom. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, Pat, would you please call the roll of the board members?
Ms. Anderson? Here. Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Floral?
Here.
Mr. Horn?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mrs. Storr?
Here.
Mr. Wedgeworth?
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have 7 board members present, therefore we do have a quorum.
Thank you, Pat. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting held on March 23rd of 2023?
Motion to approve the March 23rd minutes.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes for the March 23rd Board of Directors meeting are approved. This morning in the audience, we have some distinguished guests with us. We have Cumberland County Mayor Alan Foster is here. We have our 9th District County Commissioner Colleen Mall is here with us, and the 6th District County Commissioner Joe Sherrill is here with us this morning. Mr. Mayor, do you have some comments to share?
Thank you, Ken. I will be brief. I just wanted to let everyone know a few little items about the county. Budget is about to be underway, so that's the fun time of year for our county commissioners and mayor and finance department. Starts next Friday with all-day budget hearings. It'll go on every Tuesday and Thursday evening until probably late July, something like that. If you're a nerd like me and you love numbers and the minutia of accounting and finance, you are welcome. These are open meetings, open to the public, and I find them fascinating. You may or may not. But I also wanted to give you a quick update on the courthouse. Many of you know it's in a state of disrepair. 1905 structure. The commission and I feel very strongly that it's something that we want to save and preserve. We've gotten rough budgeting estimates, and the commission approved the hiring of the architects and the engineering teams that are going to design the structural repairs and the renovation. We're going to do a renovation while we're at it, and so we're moving forward with that. And finally, I get a lot of questions about Flat Rock. I talked to them yesterday, Motorsports Park. They have the grading done on the club portion of the track, 3.5 miles, about to start doing the gravel and the paving. So it's moving along. It's a lot's going on out there. But that's what I have for you, Ken.
Okay.
If anybody has questions, I'm available.
Question.
Do you have any inside information about the Rocky Top Cinema 10 theater that we don't have?
It's closed.
That's all you know.
It's all, yeah, it was just a private transaction. They sold to a church and it closed as a theater. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we can find someone to fill that gap.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming today.
Oh, glad to be here. All right, anybody else? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Either Commissioner Mall or Commissioner Sherrill, do either one of you have any comments you'd like to make? Okay. Then I'll share the following comments from across the board. The Community Club Election Committee will be announcing the beginning of our 2023 Fairfield Glade Board of Directors election process next week. This year we'll elect 2 directors at large to the board. 7 members of the Board of Directors are each elected for 3-year terms. They are eligible to serve 2 terms, are required to be a member in good standing, and must have owned real property in Fairfield Glade for at least 3 years prior to taking office at the annual membership meeting, which is on September 15th of 2023. We're fading. I don't have anything. Let me hold it here. See if I. There we go. And so the Fairfield Glade Community Club is a property owners association. Yeah, I don't know if it's batteries. Do you have another mic back there? Let's try this. The Fairfield Glade Community Club is a property owners association, and each membership parcel is allocated 1 vote in the election process. Applications to be considered as an at-large candidate will be available beginning on Monday, May 8th, and must be submitted by 12 noon on Friday, June 2nd. A Meet the Candidates event is scheduled for Thursday, July 27th, and electronic balloting begins on Monday, August 7th, and ends on Friday, September 1st. The results of the election are announced at the 2023 annual membership meeting held on September 15th at 10 a.m. Newly elected members of the Board of Directors begin their term of office at the annual membership meeting and participate in the election of the Board of Directors officers immediately following the annual membership meeting, and officers of the Board of Directors serve a 1-year term. In February, the Board of Directors announced that the Community Club and Bobby Jones Links entered into a management agreement for the operation of the Stonehenge Grill and the snack bars at our 4 golf clubs. Bobby Jones Links is also will consult with the Druid Hills Golf Club food and beverage venue. We continue to review the performance at Stonehenge Grill and the golf snack bars with Adams Horn on a weekly basis. The Board of Directors held a review with Food and Beverage Director Adams Horn and Bobby Jones Links Senior Vice President of Operations Mike Nolan during our board executive session on Wednesday to discuss the operations to date and possible future plans. Please watch for future notices on upcoming events at our food and beverage venues. Recently, members of the community club have raised a concern over the number of guest passes that an individual club member can request. Our amended and restated Declaration of Covenants and Restrictions state that all members of the club shall be entitled to reasonable guest privileges. While some of our members have chosen to narrowly interpret the reference to members as residents and the term guests as visitors of residents, the covenants and restrictions specifically refer to guest privileges shall be made available to the customers and prospective customers of the declarant as reasonably required to assist in its marketing and sale of lots and living quarters within the properties, implying a much broader commercial marketing interpretation of guest privileges. Further, the covenants and restrictions stipulate that all guest privileges provided herein shall be subject to such reasonable guest fees and rules and regulations governing guest privileges as may be adopted from time to time by the board. The board has discussed this matter at length and is in consultation with the community club's legal counsel, so this matter remains under consideration. As a result of the board's consultations with the community club legal counsel regarding the guest pass inquiry, the board has been informed of the unintended consequence that the community club will need to provide additional amenity access for members of the public in order to protect our 501c4 tax status as a membership organization. Access by members of the public to our swimming pools requires that the community club comply with the Tennessee Health Department regulations, which require lifeguards. The need to identify, recruit, select, train, and compensate lifeguards are new and unexpected challenges for the community club. We are in the process of developing a strategy to move forward to meeting the compliance requirements, and we will share that strategy once it is finalized. I would note here that we have every intention of opening the pools on schedule, and that they will operate as they did last year until we're able to put the new strategy in place. We continue to work with private club associates on their comprehensive strategic planning engagement to deliver a strategic plan document designed to grow, change, and evolve with time. The strategic planning process will include a review of the community club's mission statement, vision statement, core values, and identify the social fabric of Fairfield Glade. Included in the process will be an analysis of emerging trends among communities like ours, an examination of our facility use data, along with forecasting of future needs. Initial interviews with the community leaders and key stakeholders have been conducted, and additional interviews with other key stakeholders will be scheduled. PCA is in the process of scheduling discussion group meetings for Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. On April 25th, we sent an email to all members on our email list regarding participation in these discussion groups. A regular membership communication plan is also a component of this planning process. The new Strategic Planning Committee is engaged with PCA in developing a transformational strategic plan document. Once the strategic plan document is completed, presented to our membership, and approved by the board, the committee will be charged to develop and update a work plan to be reviewed annually by the board and recommend revisions to the plan document. Members who would like to share additional comments regarding the strategic planning initiative can reach out to the strategic planning team by sending email messages to the strategic planning team at strategicplanning@fairfieldglade.cc. Information concerning the strategic planning team is also available on the community club website. In response to a presentation from one of our members, the Board of Directors will be considering this morning a proposal to change the method of calculating the sewer availability fee. Currently, the availability fee is calculated based on the size of the lot. The proposed change would calculate the fee using the linear footage of the lot at the frontage road where the extension is taking place. As we announced last month, we have entered into an agreement with John Sherrill, allowing our residents to take leaves, yard waste, sticks, and tree limbs to his site on Chestnut Hill Road 3 days a week. The new compost site will be open from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, except for major holidays. John Sherrill will begin accepting leaves and yard waste along with sticks and tree limbs at his site on Chestnut Hill Road on Tuesday, May 2nd, and you will need to show your membership card to dispose of any materials. The Druid Hills project team continues to work on the planning process to determine what the next Druid Hills clubhouse facility should provide for our growing community. The board has reviewed the conceptual documents from Gulf Links. These design documents have now been incorporated into construction documents, and a request for proposal was distributed on March 22nd to select an organization to construct the large putting green and complete the work on the driving range. The final design documents will be shared with the community at our next Druid Hills Town Hall. The Performance Center, architect and engineering firm KDC from Atlanta, Georgia, has been hired to develop and design the construction documents for the Performance Center, create an RFP for hiring an organization to construct the Performance Center, and to provide the oversight during the construction of the Performance Center. The steering committee and the Gulf Committee have met with KDC on April 13th to begin this phase of the project. We expect to share the final design documents for the Performance Center with the community at the next Druid Hills Town Hall. The Food and Beverage Subcommittee is in the process of developing the draft set of requirements for the food and veg portion of the Druid Hills Clubhouse. These requirements, along with the requirements for golf and the clubhouse common areas, will be reviewed by the steering committee, the board, and presented to the community for comment at the next town hall meeting. The goal after these reviews will be to distribute an RFP for the clubhouse architect. Members who'd like to share additional comments regarding the Druid Hills project can reach out to the Druid Hills Steering Committee and the subcommittees by sending email messages to these committees at druidhillsprojects@fairfieldglade.cc. Information concerning the Druid Hills project is also available on the Community Club website. And finally, previously, the Community Board of Directors shared a proposed memorandum of understanding with the declarant, Mr. Tom Anderson. The memorandum of understanding has been executed by both parties, and a survey of the properties was actually conducted on April 14th. The property transfer documents are in the process of being drafted. Initial conversations are also underway in the process of identifying the preliminary requirements for both the tenants of the emergency services building. And this is our April update from across the board. And with that, we'll turn to Bruce for the treasurer's report.
Good morning. Thank you. I'll refer you to your handout, and I'll also remind you that the numbers in parentheses next to the dollar numbers I'll refer to the particular data sheet that's attached. Fairfield Glade Club finances through the first quarter are strong. In sewer, from the balance sheet, we have a little over $4 million of total cash compared to $4.4 million at the end of March of 2022, which is a negative variation of about $346,000. For the Property Owners Association and amenities, we have $3.5 million of capital cash plus $6.7 million of operating cash for a total of a little over $10 million of POA and amenity cash compared to a little over $8.4 million at the end of March of 2022, which is a positive variation of $1.7 million. Referring to the cash flow sheet, sewer ended March with a positive cash flow of $142,000, a negative variance of $1,700 compared to budget. Revenue for March was negative, a little over $16,000, primarily due to overstated commercial water usage. This commercial water usage that we did was based on the fourth quarter of 2022 and included 2 unknown water leaks that some of our customers had, so we overstated what we thought the water usage would be. The expenses in sewer were favorable to budget by $14,600, driven by reduced grinder pump expenses because of fewer home starts plus inventory adjustments. In the Property Owners Association cash flow, we ended March with a positive cash flow of $369,000, which is positive variation of a little over $214,000, driven by administration with 3 open positions not filled in the first quarter, adjustments for expired gift cards of $25,000, services and fees of $49,000, with the reserve study being less than budgeted, and additional assessments received that we had in the budget of $21,000. On the amenities side, we ended March with a negative cash flow of $1.3 million, which is a positive variation of $68,000 or $63,800 better than budget. Food and beverage continued the positive trend, being $11,300 better than budget. In addition, the center and recreation was favorable to budget by over $18,000, primarily due to pool revenue and banquet revenues favorable by $21,000. Golf was favorable to budget by $39,500, driven by 3,500 rounds favorable to budget, and the $10,500 refund from Crab Orchard Water for the water leak at Dorchester mentioned in last month's report. Overall, POA and amenities ended the first quarter with a negative cash flow of $941,000, which is $278,000 better than budget. So in my mind, we're well positioned as we go into the busy season of the year coming out of the first quarter, which tends to be very slow. I've had several questions about, since the Silicon Valley Bank failure in California, concerning our security of our funds. 97% of our funds are secured by either Federal Deposit Insurance Corporations or by other securities. The other 3% is cash that flows in and out on a regular basis. So trust that your cash we have is 97% insured. So we don't have any issues with that kind of thing. So any questions for me?
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. How's that? Bruce, just one thing regarding the POA and amenities for this year,
Yes.
which is, as we've discussed in the past, kind of that key number when you come down to budgets every year and you're presenting your budget, and how well we're doing and how much you end up raising dues or moving money to
You mean assessment?
assessments. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this year, we're already through first quarter. As you've
Yes.
indicated, we have to look at
Right.
segments. 278,000 positive. Great, congratulations. Last year, we were 161,000
Okay.
positive, so
Okay.
we're already on our way. But I question budget process again, where that's going to stand, and where we're going to end up at the end of the year, and how that's going to relate to budget and dues.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Thanks. Any other questions?
You talk about our funds in the bank are secured.
Yes, sir.
I think everybody understands FDIC.
Yeah.
You said, if I remember right, FDIC is 250?
250 per account. Yeah,
account.
per bank, yes. And so
Okay.
we have a program where we spread those out through Smart Bank, and they spread them out through banks across the country.
Oh, okay. So none of it's secured by treasuries?
No.
Okay, so it's just all FDIC?
Yeah. Well, some of the banks secure it with securities they own that are insured as well. So, yes.
So Smart Bank, theoretically, you put $2 million in. They spread it out to 10 banks.
Divide that by 250, and they spread it around by that number of banks. Yes, sir. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bruce. The next item on the agenda is the general manager's report. Bob?
Okay, thank you. The actual sign for the new welcome sign at the square is in production now, and we've been told that it should be installed next week, so looking forward to that. We continue to do some road striping within the community, and that's primarily your collector roads and your roads that are very heavily traveled. We do not stripe neighborhood roads just because of the level of travel on those roads. Then the county road superintendent has told us that they should start doing chip and seal roads here in the Glade within the next 2 weeks. So we hope to see that starting. And then we're also in the process of getting quotes from Rogers Group for the actual asphalt paving for our road list for 2023. Year-to-date golf rounds through last month were 13,500. That's about 3,500 more than budget and 2,100 more than last year, primarily due to preferred rounds and the really warm weather that we've had the first quarter of the year. For the year, the average rounds per course per day open were 76 compared to 77 last year, so we're about the same. And then the following PRs have been approved by me or the SMT since they were under 25,000 threshold, which goes to the board for approval. And we had a hauler for the recreation and activities, $10,000, and safety pads for the racket center indoor courts, $7,657. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Bob. The resort update, Barb?
Good morning. By the way, Bob, the waterfall was running at the new sign at the center yesterday, and it looks beautiful. Looks really nice. Wyndham visitors, month to date is 2,088. Year to date, 11,247. Timeshare revenues, the center is 2,076, which is 2% of like revenue. Racket sports, 8,133, which is 9%. Dartmoor Marina, 2,542, which is 8%. St. George Marina, 2,376, which is 7%. Golf, 31,346, which is 6%. Food is 45,643, which is 11%, for a total of 92,116, which is an average of 8% of like revenue. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Barb. The architectural control update, Sam?
Thank you. Thank you. The architectural controls report for April is as follows. Through March of 2023, miscellaneous approvals were 405. For the same time last year, 336. New home approvals through March of 23 was 30. Last year, same time was 40. New homes completed through March of 2023 is 29, and through the same time last year was 33. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sam. This morning, we have several items of unfinished business to go through. The first one is a ratification of the amended agreement with the declarant. Bruce?
Yeah, we have an amended agreement on the sewer agreement based on, we initiated that because of the upcoming agreement we're going to talk about changing the availability fee calculation. Mr. Anderson has signed that agreement, and I'm going to make a motion that the board ratify that agreement with Mr. Anderson.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion to that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the ratification of the amended agreement with the declarant for sewer is approved. The proposed revision to the sewer resolution regarding calculation of the sewer availability fee.
Yeah, this has been out on the website for comment since the last board meeting, and we've gotten no comments back. This proposal to change in the policy is to delineate the sewer policies related to sewer system extensions and related availability fees. Under the current policy, the availability fees are charged when the central sewer system becomes available to a lot as calculated based on acreage. However, costs to extend sewer are based on linear foot of pipe used. This proposed revision is to change the method of charging to the result of a presentation request of a resident of Fairfield Glade. So in order to be consistent with how costs are incurred, availability fees will now be charged based on the linear feet of the lot foot frontage. So I make a motion that we approve that policy.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the resolution passes for the change in the calculation for the sewer availability fee. We also had a proposal for a revisor to the lot merger policy for our septic lots. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this one also has been out on for comment for a month. We received one comment, and that was a favorable comment. They agreed with the what the change was going to be. Basically, in a nutshell, what this policy change does is treat people who have a sewer deed for an extra lot in order for them to be able to have their sewer installed, I'm sorry, their
Septic.
yeah, septic tank. Thank you. This will be group activity. That's good. So, but basically the idea is we want to treat them just like every other merger of a lot. In the current policy, what we do is we will merge the lots, and then once they go on sewer, our sewer system, if they choose to do so, it's always a choice. But if once they go on, then we unmerge the lots, but we keep them paying dues on both lots, which seems just a little unfair. So what we're doing with this policy is we're basically saying is once they merge, they stay merged. and they'll only pay for the one merged lot as opposed to two separate lots. So again, there was only one comment, and this has been on for comment, so I move that we approve the change to the lot merger policy.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the revision to the lot merger policy is approved. Then we had a proposal for a revision to the parking policy.
Yeah. The proposed parking policy has been posted since the March BOD meeting. We received 3 questions and our comments. We've answered those. So at this time, I'll make a motion that we approve the revised parking policy.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay, thanks, Barb. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The revision to the parking policy is approved. And then we also had a revision to the fine schedule.
The proposed revised fine schedule has been posted since the March Board of Directors meeting. We received no comments on that one and our questions. At this time, I make a motion that we approve the revised fine schedule.
Okay, is there a second for that?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Ellen. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the revised fine schedule is approved. Now, we also have 2 items of new business. They are both purchase requisitions. The first one is for a new Chevy van replacement for the center in the amount of $38,147. Bruce?
Okay. Yeah, this is to replace an old van that we've got that absolutely needs replaced. One thing we did was Abby found some vans, and the problem is, as we've had before with vehicles, if you're going to buy a vehicle, used vehicle on the market, you've got to be able to buy it when you find it. You can't find it today and then wait till the next board meeting to ask for the money because it's going to be gone. So back on April 6th, Abby let me know that she had found a van, and so we had $40,000 in the budget for a van. So I emailed the board, and they approved the expenditure up to $40,000 for this van so that she could go and get it. She, in fact, has done that and has found a van for actually $38,147. So I am making a motion to approve the $38,147 for the van.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the PR for $38,147 is approved for the purchase of the Chevy van. The second purchase requisition is for the 2024 purchase of the Stonehenge replacement golf carts in the amount of $209,364.
Yeah, it may sound a little strange to be approving dollars for golf carts for 2024, so let me tell you the backstory. I've talked with Bobby Jones Links earlier in the year, and if you recall last year, we had a hard time actually getting golf carts, and we ended up ordering 2022s and 2023s together, and we didn't get them till late in the year. And so I asked Bobby Jones Links, what about now? Is there a concern? And they said, absolutely. You need to get your order in now, even if you want them in 2024. So Jeff worked with the Bobby Jones Links folks and got us quotes from 2 different companies on golf carts. And so what we're going to do is we're going to approve this, and I'm using the capital reserve as collateral, but we will not spend the money until they come off the truck, and that won't happen until hopefully March, April of 2024. So we're wanting to get the order in so we can get the carts in a timely fashion versus waiting again until the end of the year. So this PR is to approve that. But let me give you some information and show you what inflation is doing. The last carts we bought, the cart actually itself was $5,100. We got $3,500 of trade-in for those carts last year. Carts this year are $6,000. That's $900 a cart more. And the trade-in value is $3,050, which is $450 less. So the carts last year cost us $1,495 a cart. This year it's $2,900 a cart. And again, we went out and got bids on this, so it's not like, it's what inflation is doing to the cost of our materials. So with that, I will make a motion to approve the $209,364 using the reserve as a collateral.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Gotta go up there. Thank you.
Out of curiosity, what brand cart is?
Easy Goes. It's Easy Go.
We played a few courses in Florida last year, and they brought in these Chinese carts. They like riding a hay wagon.
Okay.
And
Well, and full disclosure here is we got quotes from Easy Go and Club Car. And Club Car was all of $300,000 better price total out of $209,000 and some. And my view is, and we talked about it yesterday with the board, my view is that for member experience and our own maintenance issues, we want to stick with, for $300, it was not worth changing 72 carts at Stonehenge next year just because of that. So I think we need to stick with Easy Go, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay.
I can only hope that they are not as loud as the new ones that were purchased at Heatherhurst, because our ladies group played there, and they're louder than a lawnmower. You almost need earplugs.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. We've had our discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the PR for the $209,364 for the 2024 Stonehenge replacement carts is approved. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the FGRS update. Phil Birdsall is here to give that update.
You brought support?
Bodyguard.
As it were. My name is Phil Birdsall, and I am a member of the Board of Directors of Fairfield Glade Resident Services. I've been here every month for the last almost year. And I thank you again, as always, for the opportunity to give you a little more information about what we do. Today, I'd like to change my approach quite a bit and use this time to allow one of the Resident Services volunteers the chance to share with you some of his thoughts on being involved with Resident Services. And to that end, I'd simply like to introduce Phil Bachman and turn it over to him to speak to you for a few minutes. Phil, you may want to turn this down a little. Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Phil Bachman. I've been a resident approximately 5 years. I've been on the Property Standards Committee, served a term there, and now I'm volunteering with the Fairfield Glade Resident Services. I'm especially interested in the home services for all of our residents that are in need of railings, ramps, grab bars in the showers, in their bathrooms, anything that will assist them and provide them the opportunity to stay in their homes as long as they can. We have a lot of residents that are in need that either aren't aware of our services or have no way to communicate their needs. I'm hoping that this, along with other options, will get the word out and let them know that we are available, we are enthusiastic, and just looking forward to give back to all of our community. Most of us in here, God has blessed us so much, and that's the motivation to give back to everyone else, take care of our older residents. There's a lot of them that we're giving to our community, and now they're in need, and we want to make sure that we're here and we have people in place to help them.
Thank you, Phil. I just want to mention that we have recently approved 3 new board members at Resident Services, which will bring us to a full complement on our board. They'll be attending their first board meeting next month, and I'm sure we'll have a public announcement after that. But I will tell you, each one of them brings a unique set of skills and expertise, and that's what we're looking for. If anybody is interested in serving on our board, just let us know. We're trying to cycle these things basically at the end of the year now. And if you put your name in or just tell us, it'll go to our nominating committee and you will definitely be considered. So thank you again. Everyone have a nice day.
Thanks, Phil.
Hey, Phil? But I'd like to just make one quick comment. Just, you don't need the microphone, but I just want to make a comment. I'm a former board of directors member of FDRS for 10 years. I would like everybody in this room to consider volunteering, number 1. And number 2, tell your friends, this doggone organization is only as good as its volunteers. Trust me. And there's no other one like this in the United States, I promise you. 10 years I spent on it, and we have done more darn good stuff for this community than you can shake a stick at. So we need help, because without volunteers, the program dies. That's all.
That was Pat Grouet. Thank you, Pat, for those comments.
Okay, at this time, we'll recognize Fairfield Glade residents who would like to share some comments. And so if you're going to move up to the microphone, please, thank you.
Ted Landers, I have 2 comments. The first is I do like the new welcome sign. I was curious to see that the waterfall is only on one side of the sign. I was wondering if there was plans to put the waterfall on both sides of the sign?
No, it's just on the one side, really kind of as you come into Fairfield Glade, as
With the
opposed
sign
to
being
exiting.
angled at that point, it's everybody who drives out from the Four Corners area would be able to see the waterfall on the backside?
No, again, it's just going to be on the front side, so it's really more for people coming into Fairfield Glade. It's kind of that welcome. On the back side, there's going to be a thank you on the sign itself, but no waterfall.
Okay. The second thing is I heard on the radio coming over to this meeting today that this, Crossville had received $3.1 million in funding from the state for freshwater, sewer, and stormwater management. Was the board aware of that, and how does that affect the regional water district thing that they're trying to put together for fresh water?
Well, the regional is for freshwater. What is the award for?
It is a combination for freshwater, sewer, and stormwater management.
Okay, I don't know. Is Alan still here, or did he leave? I don't, oh, there he is.
If it's what I believe it is, it's TDEC funds that are going out to the utility districts, and that's the first round, and that's, I believe the cities was mostly sewer, but there are other projects involved.
Does that have anything to do with trying to do the regional water, freshwater supply?
No, this
stuff?
was grants that came through ARPA funding that were probably started 2 years ago, so.
Thank you.
I'm Barbara Nelson. I've been a resident for 2 years, and I'm 84 and my husband's 91, and we're requesting consideration for a recycling program for residents. You might, I gave you some options for ways to initiate a program for us. And if anybody wants a copy of that, you can see me afterwards and I'll email it to you. We can drive to the recycling place now, but there may be a time that we won't be able to do that, and to save our economic ways, we would like to request you looking into a recycling program for residents.
Okay, have you talked with the environmental committee about that? Or is this the first?
No, this is the first. I didn't know about that.
Okay, we'll refer it to the environmental committee to
Okay.
take a look at.
If they have any questions, I'm available.
Okay.
You have my email
Okay.
address.
Do I have other comments?
Good morning. A couple of things. Ken, you mentioned in across the board the unintended consequence regarding the lifeguards. Can you enlighten the group? I've heard, and it's just, I don't know for a fact, that we used to have them before, but then we took them out. So if you could enlighten us on that. Did we have them before?
Yes, we did have them before. We had a lot of issues with them. A lot of them, unfortunately, are teenagers, and so getting them to show up to work in the summertime sometimes is difficult. And so there were a lot of issues. So after a few years of that, we disbanded the program.
So it wasn't really unintended because we had them before. We should have had them. My next thing is, in the general manager's report, yesterday's meeting was a little bit different than what was explained today. There was talk about the restrooms and so forth in yesterday's agenda of the general manager's report, and nothing mentioned today at the board meeting. Any particular reason?
Yeah, that actually, if you recall, Bruce Cox handled that yesterday. So it's under my heading, but we actually have board members handle various things. Bruce, the restrooms, Greg, Druid Hills, and what have you. So I typically don't handle those items.
And so, Bruce, I guess, any difference between yesterday's meeting and today's meeting? Why it would be talked about yesterday and not today?
It just wasn't on.
Okay.
It just was not on the agenda to talk to.
Okay.
It was on the agenda yesterday to review with the board, which I did.
Okay.
Remember that yesterday's meeting is about the board having discussions. Today's meeting is about discussions with the presentations with the public here. It's two different kind of meetings.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce. And my last thing is regarding the pending policies. Bruce and Greg, thank you for your sections on there, because I thought you did a great job of explaining to people that don't necessarily understand what's taking place with these changes. I think all of them, whenever they're proposed, it would be helpful if it could be explained to the members of what's actually changing, why it's changing, and so forth. You guys did it. It wasn't that consistent. And that also goes to on the proposed change to the sewer availability. Bruce, you mentioned the ratification of the amendment with the declarant. Again, we got an audience here that doesn't understand why is the declarant involved. Okay, so it would be helpful to explain that part of it too.
Well, if you read, Tom, you don't have to talk about it. If you read the CNRs, the declarant has the ability to disagree with some of the changes we make because he is the developer. And so if we're going to change something like how we charge for sewer, because he's a developer, he definitely gets a no vote if he wants to say no. So we have to get him to ratify our proposal before we can actually take it up with the board.
Okay, great, and that's a great explanation for the members. Thank you.
Yeah, I would also add here, Tom, last month, we put out the message on each one of these policies, okay? There's a description of what we're changing, there's descriptions, and with that comes a copy of the documents that are being changed. So that information is out there for folks to look at when we distribute it, and then you get a full month to comment on it, okay? So, you know, that information is out there. It's not like it's not being shared. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Regarding lifeguards, has there been a cost analysis of how much it's going to cost us? Because I don't think it's going to make us any money.
Well, no, it's
Are
not.
we
It's not designed to make us any money. It's
Okay.
an
Has there been a
operating.
cost analysis because I think this board is so conscientious of how much money we spend, because, you know, we have no debt. And how many lifeguards are we going to need?
Well, we mentioned that we are working through the strategy of how do we comply with the requirements, okay? And that will tell us then how many lifeguards we need and then how much it will cost us to do that.
Will pools have to close if there's no lifeguard?
What did I say earlier? Did everyone hear that we are opening the pools and we are operating as we did last year, and then we will turn around and figure out how we move from that configuration to the new configuration, okay? And so you are making the assumption that all pools will have lifeguards, and that is not necessarily a valid assumption, because we do have the ability to restrict usage on some of the pools.
Okay.
So we are working through that with the attorney to make sure that we are not overly restricting the usage of the pools. And then when it is open to the public, we will need to have lifeguards available, okay? We can also close the pool to the public if we don't have a lifeguard.
Okay, okay. So if there's no lifeguard, the pool can be open to us?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
So a lot of these questions, I think a lot of these people have the same questions. Is this going to be what you just said, put out to our membership? Because 30 days ago, I started hearing rumbles that we're going to have lifeguards. Okay? So rumors get started. What you just said can quiet a lot of rumors if it's just communicated.
Well, we don't communicate anything until we actually know what direction we're going in and when we're going to go there, okay? We will communicate the strategy when we have it, okay? We are still talking with our attorney on that, and so we're not going to make any public announcements until we know exactly where we're going to go and what the timing is going to be to get there.
I'm concerned because sometimes information doesn't get to us. Example, I tried to get on the website for over a week from my computer. I couldn't get on. It just said, not there. So I finally called the community club, and they said, oh, we've changed it. I said, changed to what? It's no longer Fairfield Glade Community Club, it's the Fairfield Glade Resort. I said, when was that changed? Well, I don't know. You were supposed to inform. I don't think we ever heard, I didn't, and I get all the blurbs from you guys. So, you know, I'm concerned that sometimes we're not getting all the information. So I think that needs to take a step up. I mean, I'm sitting there on my computer for a week. I can't get on because it's Fairfield Glade Resort. And I don't know why. Why was it changed? Was it a marketing tool?
Was that the first week in March?
No, this was in April.
In April? even?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know we had issues because we upgraded our North Star accounting system, and that also runs the website. And so we did send an email out to the residents indicating that if you were having trouble, you need to do certain things, but it had nothing to do with resort.com versus .cc.
Well,
it all
but-
had to do with our North Star system.
but
We
I
did
ca-
send an email out on
But you
that one.
can't get on Fairfield Glade Community Club.
If
Not
you
on the
go-
web.
Yeah.
You got to go
I'll-
to Fairfield Glade Resort.
Okay, I'll double check that, because we thought we had it set up to where even if you typed in .cc, it would still go to our website. So we'll follow up on that.
Type in www.fairfieldglade.cc, takes you right to it.
Okay.
It waited until 2 days ago, John. It won't happen. 2 days ago it changed. You have to go to resort.com.
And I don't know,
Okay.
Will not redirect you any longer.
I don't
Okay,
know
yeah, so
why.
that had something to do with our North Star change.
I
which,
don't know,
yeah.
I remember a couple years ago, there was a big fight, are we a resort or a community? Then why was it changed to resort?
For marketing purposes. We are a resort community.
Well, maybe you should have put resort community instead of just plain resort.
Well, you like to keep them as short as possible.
I think clarity would have helped a lot of people. I know a lot of people didn't know it.
Okay, Pat?
Yeah, my name is Pat Gruet. I'm a 21-year resident of Fairfield Glade. And I'm not here to complain. I'm here to, quite frankly, just make a suggestion. Many of us are aging gracefully in this community. I'm living proof of it. No. What I'd like to see the board consider, and primarily Bob, I guess it's really you, is maybe an upgrade and spend some money on our sound system here. Some of us are becoming hearing challenged as we age, and whether we have a small room like this or a big room when we've had some of the larger meetings, it seems to be we have a lot of trouble with our sound system. And you know, I believe, and I don't know if we've upgraded it much, but I believe it's the original one that we put in here when we built this center, and it was not the best. I know you've upgraded some of it, but I just wondered if the board would like to take it under advisement and just, you know, maybe spend a few dinero on the sound system, because, you know, we're not broke, and we've done wonderful things in this community, but a lot of us are starting to have a problem with the hearing. I have selective hearing because I'm married. So, but I would really, you know, I would just like to see it improved a little bit. I know it can be done. Because, you know, when we used to have concerts in the past and other things here, some of the music didn't come across well, or you couldn't hear the singing, and we are a beautiful community. It's the best place to live, but a decent sound system would help us. Thank you.
Okay.
Just a couple quick questions on the fee that we're going to charge for the guests from the outside. If the pool's limited on our load capacity, say 50, and we have 50 paying guests that come in the pool, are we going to not let the residents that are part of our amenity not use that because we've let so many paying residents in or guests?
Well, that's something we have to work through. You know, quite honestly, I do not anticipate a lot of people coming in from the outside, if you will, the general public, paying $15 per person to swim in the pool. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. It hasn't been an issue in the past when we did have lifeguards. So I don't see that as a major issue, but it's something we have to look at.
Maybe we can limit the number of paying guests.
Yeah. Well, and also, we're looking at initially limiting the hours that you would have the general public. And so, and that's going to be based on the availability of the lifeguards, quite honestly. So the first step, we're recruiting for lifeguards, and their availability is going to determine what hours we actually would be open to the general public. So it's going to be a working process here over the course of probably the next year or so.
Now, is that going to be the same thing for the lakes?
No. No. The health department does not require lifeguards at lakes.
So we're not going to charge guests to use the lakes?
No, there's already a guest fee.
Nobody forces it. I mean, but you walk in the gate and you're in that lake and there's a million kids from school that, my wife's the administrator, there's a million kids in there that we don't live in here and nobody's collecting money from them.
Okay.
The marinas
Well,
can't, there's no way.
Yeah, we can.
Those guys are inside, you walk down, you're in the water.
Mm-hmm. Well, they can do it, so we'll have a talk with the marinas about that.
Okay.
Yeah, because they should be enforcing that.
Hi, my name's Pamela Nelson,
And I might have a question, but my first question is it a 501c4 that Fairfield Glade is trying to be?
Yes.
Okay.
No, no, we're not trying to be. That's the way we are,
Well,
we are
right.
organized.
Should have
Yes.
said tried.
Yeah.
Okay, well, because I've seen a lot of the rumor mills going around, so we just pulled up on irs.gov what the definition is, and now I do have a question, because it says that an organization must operate primarily to further the common good and general welfare of the people of the community. And then it says, for example, an organization that restricts the use of its facilities to employees of selected corporations and their guests is primarily benefiting a private group rather than the community, and therefore does not qualify as a section, whatever. My question is, when the law says community, are they talking about the community of Fairfield Glade, or are they talking about the community of like Crossville and Crab Orchard? What is community? Has the attorney explained what community is in the law?
He has indicated to us it is the larger community, not just Fairfield Glade. Yeah.
I think I try to argue that we are a community and it's Fairfield Glade, and then it's much more probably what everybody kind of wanted when they got here. You might get a second opinion, I don't know. Sugar.
Okay, do we have any other comments from the membership? Okay, at this time, before we move to adjourn, I do have another announcement. We have had the privilege of having Pat Davis as our administrative assistant for now 45 years. I won't tell you how old she was when she started, because most of you that are good with numbers would then figure out how old she is, and I'm not so sure she wants us to advertise that. But Pat has been the only administrative assistant that we have had, and she shared with us yesterday a few comments of what this place was like when she started, and so it's we have moved significantly over the 45 years that she has been with us. We are desperately hoping that she sticks around for another 45 years at the rate we're going. But she is the boss. And she tells Bob what to do, and she keeps us from getting in trouble most of the time. Other than, when you've got 7 to watch rather than 1, it's hard to keep all the kids in line at the same time. But Pat, we really do appreciate everything that you've done for us, and you really do keep us out of trouble. We don't know what we would do without you. So thank you.
Here.
Okay. So she is 45 years, so thank you, Pat. With that, I think we're ready to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second to that motion? Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned.
Yeah, we did that. Thanks so much. No, he left yesterday. That's, I guess, when he drives, he'll
Yep.
just like decide.
Have a good time.
So he can just like decide.
Travel
when he
safe,
wants
too.
to. He came down on Friday or Saturday, though. Yeah. Oh, yeah, lunch. Yeah, glad you got to see it. It seems super promising. I mean, I think we're all on the same page. Oh, yeah. You know, it's just getting to the final, like, number.